1196. It's about 5:30 p.m. Just set up the chairs for the new believers class that I will not be teaching tonight. Stood out here and talked to my pastor for about an hour. Very intense conversation. And yeah, it came down to the fact that I'm going to be missing 7 weeks of X18 as an X18 leader, and the expectation is that if I'm going to teach classes and stuff like that, I'll be at X18 as a leader. So I don't totally agree with it, but my pastor brought up something interesting, how much I don't trust people and how much I look for finding ways to not trust, which is true. And then also I've seen valid reasons to not trust. But he's right. And he was saying, how do you come under submission to your leaders without needing to know the answer to everything, without having to understand everything, without having every question answered? And I told him, I was like, I don't trust, because I've had so many leaders in my life where they're one person on stage and they're a completely different person off. And so it's just, it sucks. And so I don't trust fully, and definitely have some trust issues, massive trust issues. So, and he pointed that out, which was, I felt it. Like, it was like, yeah, he's right. And he was talking about how do you just submit to your leaders and just trust your leaders. Even if you don't trust your leaders, trust that God put them in your life for a reason. The Bible talks about submitting to your leaders because there is no authority without God. Like, all authority comes from God. And so we're called to submit to the leaders that God has put in our lives. And as much as I don't like it or don't agree with it, it was the same way in the internship. Did not agree with it, did not like it, did not agree with how they did things at all. And I submitted anyway, and I learned obedience. And now that is why I'm so obedient to the Lord, because I learned that. Because I went in with the most rebellious spirit ever, and a huge part of that got broken. And I learned that even if I didn't agree, even if I didn't want to do it, even if it didn't make sense, I still surrendered and I was obedient, and that transferred to my relationship with God, where when God calls me to do something, even if it doesn't make sense, even if I don't understand, I still do it because I know there's going to be something that comes from that, and I know that I can trust God. And so I have to make a choice. Am I going to trust the leaders that God put in my life, or am I not? Am I going to keep leading myself and be the lone wolf? And it's just like, I don't want to do that. And so it ended up being a really heartfelt, genuine conversation. And he was like, you've got so much potential, like so much potential. And I truly believe, like, in my heart and soul, that if you learn to trust the leaders, like, we're not perfect, but if you learn to trust the leaders that God has put and placed in your life, if you believe that, this is the church for you, then I just know God's going to pour things out into your life that will blow you away. And so, I'm just surrendering to that, because I know, as much as I hate it, I know he's right. As much as I don't like it, as much as my flesh doesn't like it, I know there's truth in it. And I didn't expect God to bring this stuff into it, but he is, and I need to be delivered from that. Because if I never trust anyone, like, I think about my future wife, like, if I'm constantly looking for reasons to not trust, I will find them. And he's like, what if you flipped it and you look for reasons to trust? Because no one's going to be perfect. So what if you look for reasons to trust? And I was like, well, that's a whole different concept. And so, it's definitely a trust thing. And it was a really intense conversation, and I'm still processing it all. I still don't agree with the decision at all. But part of trusting my leaders is I don't have to agree with it. I just have to go with it. And that's not That's not what I normally do. So I'm in this weird state of just, okay. But what I will say is after that conversation, I felt a huge relief, like, okay, because this new believers class, there's a lot of weight to that, a lot of responsibility. And I felt a weight lifted. And so I'm like, interesting. Like, okay, God, what are you lining up? Like, what's going on? And so I'm just in this moment of looking for understanding. The word says, trust the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, and all your ways submit to him, and he'll make your path straight. So I'm just submitting this. I feel bad though. A lot of people, I mean, everyone that's been coming is coming because they're expecting I'm going to teach something that's going to help them fight the battle. I'm going to teach spiritual warfare, and I don't think that will be taught tonight because that's not something that's taught at this church. But God can use my pastor just as easily as he can use me to teach these things. And so I'm very curious to see what happens, but I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed because they're expectant to come here and have me teach. People are trying to bring family members, friends, boyfriends, like, so I just feel like, man, like they're going to have a surprise when I don't stand up, and I'm not going to be teaching the class anymore. So until I probably come back to X18 and I'm a leader again. So I don't know what God is doing, but I am willing to surrender, and I'm just processing things, which is great because this just shows like my spiritual growth and maturity. Because the old me, I'd be like, I'm done, see you later, I'm finding a different church. Like, you guys are wasting my potential, you're wasting my time, like, and yeah, you guys clearly don't care about people because they're getting transformation and now you're taking it away. And that's like the old me that would be like, yep. And I feel that, I feel it, but I'm not going to honor it. And I know that my pastor really wants what's best for me. He's seen me grow through this whole process. The 2.5 years I've been coming here, he's seen it all, or 2 years I've been coming here. He's seen it all. In the internship, he saw when I wasn't a believer. He's seen the highs, the lows, everything in between. And I just got to choose to trust him. I got to choose to trust the decision that was made. And I don't think he made the decision. I think it was someone above him that made it. He just has to reinforce it and deliver it. So I feel bad for him because he has to play the middleman a lot of times. But yeah, so I'm just trying to get my heart right. I'm trying to want this to go well, but my flesh is like, does not want it to go well, to say see, which is just pride and a bunch of BS. So I gotta work on that. Good thing is I have an hour and a half to get my heart in the right place. Because yeah, I was just not expecting that, but I know God will use it for good. His word says God uses all things for the good for those who love him and who are called according to his purposes. So he uses all things for the good, but there's two caveats: for those who love him and those who are called according to his purpose. I know that I love him, and I know that I'm called according to his purpose. So I'm called and I love him, which means he's going to use this for good. So, but it does feel like a huge weight taken off my shoulders, and who knows, God could be removing this so I can just focus completely and totally all of my effort and energy on this Find Your Calling program that's being launched. And we've got 93 people signed up, and they just started promoting it tonight. Like, they're going to start posting it on social media and everything. And so there'll be, I'm sure, a lot more signups. So maybe God just wants me all in on that, focused on that. It's also crazy because one of my friends who's an event planner reached out last night and said she wants to start getting me on stages and booking stages. And so, yeah, maybe I was going more into the church, and God wants to take me more out of the church and out into the world and bring this out to the world. So, yeah, it's a really interesting situation. I'm proud of how I'm handling it. I'm handling it the best that I can without just walking away with my middle fingers in the air, because that's the old me. So, not going to do that, but yeah, I'm interested to see what happens tonight, what the class is like. God help my heart. God give me the heart. It's not even about my pastor. Like, I want him to crush it. Like, I love him. He's like a brother. But my flesh is like, all right, you guys, all right. Then they better get the same transformation they would have gotten from this class. I had props. I had an exercise ready to go, a Bible verse broken down in Hebrew. Like, it was so good. But I guess it wasn't for them. So maybe I'll use it for Warriors of God or something like that. But yeah, or maybe it was just for me. I don't know. But I'm just going to surrender. Lord, give me the heart. Give me the heart to just love. To love more and fear less. Amen.